2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the EFM Health Club podcast for another week. My name is Justin Waring, and with me, as always, Wade Brady and Michael Jewson. How are you guys?
Morning. Good, thank you, Justin.
Morning, all.
Nice to see you. So we have a special guest. Sorry, Michael, I cut you off. We have a very special guest today. We're going to delve into the realm of hypnosis and hypnotherapy and how it can help you in your both daily life and health and fitness. So, Wade.
So yes,
introduce our lovely guest.
This is Louise Webster. She's been a member with us for a few months now, and she was recommended to come along by a friend. And yes, she's doing really well. She made the mistake of telling me what she does. I'm like, oh, we could use you. No, we haven't had a lot of chats about the hypnotherapy stuff, but the brief chats, it's just like, no, we've got to get you on the podcast. There's so many things you could teach us for just general embedment of whatever it might want, whatever it is you choose and you're trying to work on. So yeah, well, I guess you could just quickly tell us about your history with your work and how you got into hypnotherapy.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for having me here. Thanks. My background is in nursing and midwifery, and I then took some time away from work to raise my family. And I always thought I've always been interested in yoga. I'm also a yoga teacher as well, but also in terms of the midwifery space and the birthing space, hypnobirthing. Most people would have heard about hypnobirthing. It was a thing when I started being a midwife, which is essentially teaching women self-hypnosis for that process of birth, which is normally an altered state that they go into. And very, very, very effective. But when I was working, there was some wonderful anaesthetists that were also utilising hypnosis, and so I saw firsthand how effective and in different applications that hypnosis could be used. And our hospital, which is the Women's and Children's in Adelaide, actually did a study. And luckily, I was working as a midwife. I was also pregnant to be involved in that study for hypnosis for childbirth, which was really great. So I sought out these doctors to learn from, and so did the hypnosis course, thinking, oh, I'll just do it for teaching hypnobirthing for women. And then when I started to discover how incredible and effective and quick it can be for people, I haven't been able to stop. It can literally be applied for anything, anything that somebody wants to change, and that could be something emotional or physical. So pain, chronic pain, it's exceptionally effective for that. Even so, I'll work with people undergoing chemotherapy, so nausea, side effects of medication, or it could be morning sickness as well. So it's just a remarkable modality. So I entered the amazing and magical world of hypnotherapy.
Yeah, and you've been at EFM for a couple of months. Wade said, how are you enjoying it? New perspective on life?
Yeah, no, really good. It's interesting. I was just saying before, I had a friend who joined 2 years ago. She told me just the other day, and it's taken her. Yeah, it's taken me. I'm a bit slow. 2 years of her suggesting, come along, and it wasn't until things have got to be right. It's got to be the right time for the person, and it's the same with people with therapy. It's got to be the right time for them, for them to want something to change, or for them to want to do something, for someone to have that. It doesn't have to be even motivation, because we can work through that, but they're wanting to do something, wanting to be a part of it. Then something just clicks, and so with hypnotherapy, you throw in everything that you've got therapeutically, and it just seems to transform the use of trance, which is just this altered brainwave state, which we can use it conversationally. So it can be, I could be with somebody and we're just having a chat, and yet this wonderful technique of conversational hypnosis can be applied throughout the whole as well. So, and that can be used within a workplace, could be used for many things. Yeah.
So knowing what you know and doing what you do, when you made the decision like to pick up the phone and call me or however you did it, did you do any like self-analyzing of like what actually just happened there? How could I not be ready and now I'll be ready? Like, were you trying to work it out in your own head, or?
No, it was probably the number of suggestions. It was like, yeah, it was May. So there was that time pressure. Yeah, bring a friend in May, and I thought, right, that's it. No,
right.
Yep, my friend has I've had many of these, you know.
So you're human, just like the rest of us.
So I did it quickly, and I went, right, that's it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Made that whatever. Organize whatever I needed to organize to commit. I made that mental commitment to myself, because it's like, well, hang on, we do all that we do, whether it's physical or emotional, for our own well-being. And I think also I'd reached the point where it's like, no, it's time to prioritize me. I've been, I'm still a mum. I've got teenagers. So we do, yes, in that that caregiving, also that was my career too, as a nurse and a midwife. Sometimes we reach a point, well, often, it's good if we can incorporate that self-care always, but sometimes it's just not the right time. But no, it was the right time. I thought, no, that's it. I know all the things I was going to gain from it. So I thought, right, I'm going to focus on all the gains, forget all those excuses and all the things that make it hard for it to, oh no, it might be, I can't get up early. I never thought I'd get up at 6 in the morning, but
yeah, you've got a few sixes, haven't you? Yeah.
So it's like, I'm just going to keep going. Yeah. And focus on the rewards. Yeah.
I like that though. It sounded like you knew eventually it got to the point where the benefits and hearing all the benefits finally outweighed the excuses, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a great thing in the therapy space, in that our mind is programmed to go to all those negative things, all those things that our mind might perceive as danger, and that's a normal evolutionary thing to look out for. That, if you think about that, you know, that primal brain, that caveman.
Hard to override.
It is. It's natural, but we do have the ability to make that conscious choice and go, oh, hang on a minute, is all those is it a healthy thing to focus on all those or to dwell on all those things that might not be a benefit or might be a danger, it's like, okay, let's make those things that are going to be the gain or the positive bigger in my. I think about my brain as having that ability to focus in or zone in on all the things that are good. Yeah, because it's easy. It automatically goes to all the things that could be crappy. For many reasons. Yeah.
If we start from the beginning with hypnosis, so most people, well, not most people, a lot of people would only ever seen hypnosis in a stage show or on TV and have very negative connotations of what it is. I'd assume most often people would say to you, I wouldn't mind doing it, but I don't want to cluck like a chicken in front of people. What happens in that hypnosis process? And I know it's not a stage show. How does it kind of differ from that?
Yep, I'm glad you asked, because there is that. It's almost like a bit of a mystery or a misunderstanding of what it could be, especially. So realise that in the clinical hypnotherapy space, it's therapy, so it's used for that psychotherapeutic change, whereas a stage show, they're using that hypnotic phenomena as entertainment. And bearing in mind, the most important thing to know is the people that you see on stage interacting with the performer, they put their hand up and they're willing to be there, so they're an active consenting, willing participant. Because we say that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, in that if you didn't want to go along with it, then it's not brainwashing, if that makes sense. The other person isn't, either the entertainer or the therapist isn't controlling you. You still absolutely 100% the whole time have that free will. So I say to people, if I suggest, like, we go through a lot of things that people are asking for, what would be the most easiest way for them to get to their goal of what they're wanting in the therapy space. And I say to people, so I write down, I use their language throughout the time with them, because their subconscious, their mind recognises it as what's their own. So it's like, oh yeah, I say to them, if I was to suggest something that I thought was good for you, but you didn't really quite 100% agree on, your mind would just reject it. So in a sense, you could say that people are ultimately completely in control through that process, whether it is on the stage, willing to go along with the process of entertainment for fun, or it's generally for fun, for entertainment, or in that therapeutic space as well.
Yeah. And so for people who've never done it before, can you describe what it would feel like? Like, does it, I guess most people would associate it with just being asleep. What does it feel like? And I think it feels different to every person, but
yeah,
say using you as an example.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the therapy, so typically, like I see children, teenagers, adults, all ages. With most adults are stressed and they want to come to relax, and they would absolutely benefit from that. So teaching them that process of relaxing. So for most people, it can feel. Often people will come thinking, and they'll tell me, oh no, I don't think I'll be able to relax. I can't relax. And they are always pleasantly surprised that no, they're gone. They're still aware of what's going on, but very much so that that hypnotic experience. So know that we're in that trance state normally, naturally. So if we were to look at the neuroscience behind it, and this hypnotherapy really is a wonderful blending of neuroscience and psychotherapy, which I think is probably the thing that can make it so effective and so quick for people. It has all the elements of things to work.
I think if people have that association of the clucking chicken and hypnotherapy and all that, and then you're trying to explain how it works and you're using words like in a trance, hypnotic state, can you use more simple, I think the term relaxed was a good word.
Yes.
Can you add in other words to explain what it is?
Absolutely.
Without using the more, trigger words, I suppose?
Absolutely, yeah. And so when I'm with people, like I wouldn't say the word trance to a child, because that's just a bit weird, or to a teenager. So I mean, I guess that's in the therapy space, you work with that person, developing, that rapport with them. But it's absolutely that state of mind. We are always open to suggestion. Like we were talking before about advertising, they use covert hypnosis all the time, having those visual images, suggestions of here's this product. So it's used in that space, but of course in the therapy realm, it's all for the benefit of the person. But it could be, so if somebody comes for hypnosis, like I was saying before, you can utilize it throughout a class. In fact, as personal trainers, you're probably already doing that, in that the language that you use and how you use it with people has that positive effect, and can just, it's those times when things just click for people, when you never know, when you've got a group of people, you don't know what's going to be the thing that's going to be to make them most motivated. Like you might have a group of people, and let's say, for example, if you started to raise your voice and get really get people motivated, some people might cower into the corner and go, oh, I'll just let everyone else. This is not for me. So it's we've all got our own things to motivate.
If we sat down for a session though, one-on-one, how would it feel for me? Like what would it feel like? Yeah, what would the experience?
So in a typical session, it would be just like coming to a counsellor, like having a chat of what you're wanting, what you're needing, how you're doing what you're doing. So that could be smoking. It could be, well, how do you do what you do? Or it could be any problem state. So it's shifting somebody from a problem state, or could be problem, issue, concern, or even nothing necessarily wrong. It could just be that they're wanting to develop those healthier habits to reach the benefits of being healthier, fitter.
So you're removing all the judgment and the labels away.
Yep, absolutely.
Stripping it back to just what it is.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So we go through the chit chat. I use conversational hypnosis, which is where we're just talking. We've got the person's got their eyes open. It's all effective. It could be anywhere from having their eyes open and us just talking, seemingly having a usual conversation, all the way to, if they're comfortable, and most people are comfortable, to closing their eyes and just having a restful time where I just guide them through. I might guide them through relaxing their body, depending on what I feel they would benefit the most from, or I might tell them a story. When I learned the technique of that's a very indirect way of working with people. So stories are wonderful. We love stories as humans, and we all make meaning, our own meaning of the stories. But storytelling can be the most powerful way of creating a change in somebody, which I remember when I first learned that, thinking, really, how can it work? Really? Because I'm not telling somebody to do something. It's almost like I'm telling them not to sometimes. And yet when I started to apply that technique, it worked miraculously. It was like, wow, this is incredible. So the change is coming from somebody on the inside. And I say to people, so it can feel like you're drifting in and out of sleep. You could sit there with your eyes closed, feeling as though, wondering consciously whether it's working. I say to people, no, it's all good. You can wonder that. I know that it will. Or what? Some people don't remember the whole time where they've closed their eyes. I said, that's okay. Your ears still work, your brain still working, and it knows how to make meaning of what it's hearing. Just like when we're asleep at night, our ears are still working. If we heard someone break in, we'd instantly subconscious would wake us up and it would alert us to pay attention to an unusual noise. So different for everybody. But so if I had somebody, so I work with people with anxiety. Some people are too anxious even just to take a deep breath or to close their eyes. So we would work together to get them to a point where they felt safer in their body to do that.
It sounds great how it's so individualized.
Yes.
And it must take a particular type of person to be able to do it well, to read, pick up on cues and direct where to go and how to approach the next step.
It's very much, I love, there's the science behind it. I'm a real science nerd in terms of the physiology, the biology, the neuroscience is amazing. But it's a wonderful blend of, it's an art, it's a real art to develop quickly. We've got to quickly develop a rapport, a relationship with somebody, gain their trust, and help move them to where they're wanting to. But luckily for me, because they come to me in the clinic space, they're there because they want to. So that's a big tip already.
Sounds super rewarding. I imagine there'd be some amazing job satisfaction.
It is. It's wonderful. It's always surprising. I bumped into a fellow colleague who was also an anaesthetist recently, and they said it's always surprising. Like you'll think, okay, well this, we'll see how things go. There's a part of you that always goes, how could it be possible? For example, after 2 sessions that somebody's anxiety is just not there. And often it's something that's a big focus for their mind, which is the issue or the problem or the concern. Sometimes it's when that leaves, sometimes people don't even realise when that left because they're focusing on other things. So it can be quite surprising how it works. Or sometimes I'll ask people, so how was that original thing that you came to me for? And they'll be talking about something else, and they'll go,
I'm on to the next problem now.
Yes.
That one's fixed.
That's just that's been fun. And I'll just say, isn't that nice?
recognize that. It's like when people are injured at the gym and they get over it, and it's like, remember when your shoulder was sore? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's like, how did you forget? When it happened, it was the world was ending.
Yes, the big focus. And yes, something like that needs to be that focus for that particular time for healing to take place. But beyond that, there's a time when you can let that go. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's my understanding, like anyone can get hypnotized, right? But I imagine there'll be people go, no, I can't. And you mentioned that trance-like state earlier. I mean, I tell me if I'm wrong, but it's very similar to when you are driving your car and you drive somewhere and you get there and you're not quite sure how you navigated. You were just so, you know, in this little trance state, right? So that's kind of what hypnosis is. It's my understanding.
Absolutely. So yes, that is completely. We go in and out of trance all the time. If we want to use the trance word, so for some people, I won't use the trance word. I'll just say it's just a normal, natural state of that we do go in and out of. If we're looking at our phone, or even for me, I'm very focused on what I'm saying at the moment. So I'm in a type of trance, whereas you're all listening to me, you're in a different type of focus. So we would be in trance together.
Yeah.
No, it's all very natural.
Did you say the word comes from transition?
No, but it would. Yes,
Okay.
it's really, really interesting. Or the use of words in that. I sometimes reflect upon the fact that you can create such a change in somebody, and it's like, gosh, all I'm doing is using words. It's like, wow, words are incredibly powerful, depending on how we use them and what we do with them. And of course, change happens within somebody. It's all that internal processing that occurs within somebody, but very normal. So if you're looking at your phone, you're reading a book, you're in watching a movie, we're in that altered brainwave state, and it's so technically it's the alpha brainwave state. Beta is where you'd be very alert, very on the ball, and thinking. And alpha, you can be driving your car. It's something you've done all the time. So your subconscious, that automatic part of your brain, just goes, I've got this. We're good. I'll keep an eye on things while you just vague out or think about what you're going to make. But of course, it's still safe because your brain is amazing. Our brain and our body is an incredible system. If there was something that happened, you'd instantly be alert and back online, back to a different brainwave status. And it's that state where we drift through as we go to sleep, to go through that wonderful sleep cycle during. Yes.
So, I mean, you talk then about, sometimes it's a bit hard to believe that some words can transform people. Someone comes with anxiety or an issue or whatever, and just some words and a process can kind of clear all that rubbish out. But in the same respect, I imagine that's how they would have got into that situation in the first place, right? So thoughts and ideas and events that has happened to them previously that they've decided to hold on to have created the state in which they're in. So in the same respect, getting rid of it would be a very similar process.
Absolutely, yes. It can be, theorised that yes, they were open to suggestion in trance, and it's a normal, natural part of our life. In fact, I think they say the first 13 years we are brainwave state as children develop, highly open to suggestion. So it's creating the brainwave state where you're open to suggestion. So it might be, you take a belief of, I can do whatever I want, or that no, I'll always be a certain way, or like for me, what I've always thought. I remember during PE, actually PE was my I didn't like. I was told I had poor ball skills.
That's nice of the teacher, wasn't it?
So I kept myself, but it's like, no, that's not. It's I shouldn't reinforce and tell myself that, because I can develop skills. I can change if I want to.
We tend to focus on the negative, though, don't we?
I know.
So stupid.
That was way back. That was a long time.
Yeah.
They wouldn't get away with that
No. Yeah.
But it's so interesting, the beliefs that we pick up throughout our life, of ourselves, or also our environment as well, that shape who we are. But it can change. It absolutely can change. Yeah. So it's that, as I said, like with clinical hypnotherapy, it really is that a wonderful blend of psychotherapy, so consciously thinking about whatever it is we're experiencing, and neuroscience to create that that neuroplasticity that you might have heard being spoken about. That can create a change. And of course, like with anything, like with as I said, like with building your muscles, that repetition. So the more that people do something, it could be something beneficial, physically, anything, a new habit like eating better foods, or just the way that they think as well. The more they put that into practice consciously, the more it just becomes that new habit. Because even thoughts could be considered a habit too. It just happens automatically without us.
And associations.
So would you say it would be really helpful for somebody to, sorry to interrupt you there, Justin.
Yeah, sorry, Michael.
For someone, the regular person, to help them take up that exercise regime, to change their diet, to be able to apply hypnosis into the fitness world and get somebody moving? Do you think there's merit there?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I get many people. Often I'll get people that have been to their doctor, might be high cholesterol, sugar. Sugar is a big one that people want to, or it's suggested that they drop the sugar. So yes, that's something. Often it'll be, like, of course, it's not one separate thing. It's the whole lifestyle thing of how we look after our body. So. Hypnotherapy is great for that. It's also hypnotherapy is often called a golden handshake between the conscious mind, and the conscious mind holds what we're wanting to do, and the subconscious, which is all those automatic things there that need changing. So it might just be, I'm just going to keep reaching for the sugar or the chocolate, because you just do it, you're used to that. But to have that, or it could be that performance motivation, performance enhancement as well, in terms of somebody's personal goals for fitness.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's interesting, being applied to the other sort of side of it, where, like you said, a general fitness person, maybe just to get them started, but if it's an athlete and they're looking to get that extra little bit out of their training, apply hypnotherapy. That's very interesting. Absolutely.
I have some friends who have utilised it with their children for sport performance. Whilst they were at high school, and with remarkable effect.
Wow. Interesting. Wow.
It's
Isn't that really cool? That's awesome. Get the kids doing something different like that and push them a bit harder. That's great. Love it.
Yes.
There's a golfer, Cameron Davis, an Australian guy, that 2 weeks after, it was like late last year, 2 weeks after he started working with a hypnotherapist, won a US tour event, a couple of $1 million, and broke through after a long period, and credited his success in that event working with her. She's quite I'm not sure how many famous hypnotherapists there are, but apparently she's a more famous one in America. Maybe if you charge extra, you become more famous. Is that right? Yeah.
In America, that's right.
Yeah.
And that's right. Absolutely. There are sporting teams and individuals that do use it for performance enhancement.
Is it
a great effect?
How far removed, or how much of an overlap is there between the psychologist and what you do? Because I know you just made me think of that sportswoman, the really good Aussie tennis player that retired early. I can't think of her name. She was number one. She was on top of the world and just retired. She wasn't even 30 yet, I don't think. And I wish I could think of her name, but her. Are
you talking about Ash Barty?
Yes. So her psychologist, he's become quite famous, and she credited a lot of her success to him.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just like, how much of an overlap?
It's essentially, it's very similar. Like I say, because some people say, oh, so like, are you a counsellor? Well, I'm not technically a counsellor. Some people that do clinical hypnotherapy, they are counsellors as well, or psychotherapists, or psychologists. But we all, or it could be social work as well, or a mental health focused doctor or psychiatrist. But we all utilise psychotherapy. So there's all different techniques of psychotherapy, and some may also be using elements of, it could be just the conversational hypnosis, depending on what they've learned and what they put into practice, or if they might be doing it without realising as well, if they're very effective at what they do. But it's similar. Yeah. So some people go, oh, so can I talk to you about? And I say, anything. You can talk to me about anything. Yeah. It can be used. Yeah. It's therapy. Yeah. So it is that. It's clinical hypnotherapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that therapeutic space.
Yeah. So if we've got people come to the gym regularly, so mine in particular, most people want to lose weight, right? So it would be beneficial for them in addition. So the majority of weight loss becomes diet based, right? So someone's addicted to chocolate, can't give up chocolate. You mentioned sugar before. How long would it take, how many sessions, I guess, would it take for them to at least see the beginnings of a decline and maybe a giving up of chocolate, we'll say chocolate, so that it can affect their overall calorie intake and then lose weight? What would be the process that they would go through?
So with anything, I say to people, within 3 to 4 sessions, you'll know whether it's doing something. And I've never seen somebody where it hasn't, they haven't noticed something, specifically in terms of weight management. I had the lady just yesterday, and so for her it's been the sweet tooth, and I think it was her second session yesterday. And previously, we worked on the sweet taste. We turned off her sweet taste, or turned it down. Turned it up. So, and this is the wonderful thing with hypnotherapy. You can get very creative. But I said, well, how about we turn up that sweet taste that your brain registers when you have sweet food? And lo and behold, she came back yesterday and she said, oh, I went to have what I normally have, and she said, ugh, it was too sweet.
Yeah.
And this is the wonderful thing, how it is
so good.
always
That's amazing.
How can that, a part of my mind goes, wow, this is amazing. How can that work? How can it be just because I suggested it, although she asked for it? Remember, she's willing and wanting this to happen. Yeah. Not only that, but she's put all the other plans into practice. We worked with her, this lady. It's also exercise motivation. She's post-op had her hips done, so she's under the care of a physio as well. So she knows what she should be doing, and she's able to get to the point where she can do more exercise to help her along the way. But it's remarkable. Yeah, always surprising. Wonderful. Yeah, but quickly. Generally, I remember when I first learned it, there was a psychologist who said when he started using the hypnotherapy, he said it was like turbocharging his therapy sessions. Things that he would they would talk about consciously, maybe for sometimes with some people years, and get a little way, but not get completely where the person wants to be, or have things fully resolved for them. He could things could just change for them in a few sessions.
Wow.
So yes, and I think turbocharging therapy. That's that is how it can be. And myself, I've not done so I'm not a psychologist. I've just done the nursing midwifery and then gone into clinical hypnotherapy. So it's all I know, but it is still blows my mind.
Stay away from that side of it.
So wonderful. I say to people, look, often people have been to psychologists, counsellors, and that's great. I said, everything that you've experienced or still experiencing, it's all helpful. And sometimes it can be, because we're working with subconscious, all the subconscious stuff, it can be just the thing to make things click or make them feel differently. So, and clients are amazing. How they work. Always think it's remarkable.
Yeah, I guess people might use it as a bit of a last resort too. I've tried everything and now, but it probably should be a little bit higher up the totem pole in my belief, because I've done it before and I really enjoy it and have seen benefits for myself, but people are very hesitant to do it. If we do nothing out of this conversation, it's to encourage people, I think, to bring it up their kind of list of things that they might try to change.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm bringing it up my list. I've never done it. I'm going to bring it up my list.
I'm glad she comes to my club, because I think people that would love to.
You might have already done it, Wade, and not known yet.
I was just going to say that.
I was going to say, so this is wonderful. So thank you for having me and to share the information about hypnotherapy, because it is steeped with that mysticism and look, there's a long history with hypnotherapy being like voodoo, but it's not voodoo. It's you do. Yeah, absolutely. So, and as a therapist, it's my job to help you.
Sorry, I'm dominating the questions too, because I think I'm most interested. Do you run sessions via Teams and Zoom and things like that, or is it all in person?
No, both. I'm in Adelaide and I have a room here, but online it's just as effective. In fact, with some people, I have that have anxiety so bad that they're at the stage where they're still functioning. They're going out when they really need to, but that process of going out is somewhat overwhelming for the nervous system. So we work online to get them to the point where they just feel more comfortable. Realizing that everything is happening inside the person's mind as well. So they can be anywhere as you guide them through that process, or do that process of communicating as well. So just as effective, if not sometimes more effective online, if you've got that person who is anxious going out.
Interesting. That's interesting in itself, that it can be more powerful online.
Yeah, and that was discovered through COVID, when a lot of therapists had to go to that online space, and especially the hypnotherapist realised, well, actually it can be sometimes more effective for people, because you want someone comfortable, and if you're if you're at home, that's generally somebody's comfortable space, and so you tick that box, and then you just get on with the work. So it can be online, in person.
You guys got. I shouldn't keep asking all the questions. You guys.
I've got a question. That's on just what we just said. So how can people take their first step? How can people listening right now take their first step if they're interested? What should be the first step to do?
If they're wanting to seek out hypnotherapy.
Yeah, if they're looking for some help with hypnotherapy, what should they go out? Where should they look?
Sure. Well, I think with most things, what do we do? We Google. So another thing to be mindful of, hypnotherapy is not registered in Australia, but there are organisations that, so for me, I belong to the Australian Society of Clinical Hypnotherapy. So that means that I've done the qualifications to be able to, or to reach their requirements to practice. With that, I do have a provider number for Australian private health insurance agencies that do cover for clinical hypnotherapy.
That's good.
So I would make sure that somebody is either registered with one of the organisations of hypnotherapy, or within, as I said, like you could have, I know some wonderful doctors, psychotherapists, counsellors, psychologists. So they themselves are either registered with their organisations. Just make sure that somebody is registered within their profession.
And if they're feeling like they, that little bit of hesitation on it, they're thinking about it but not really sure, what would be the first step mentally for them, maybe, to take that first step into the whole process?
Sometimes you can think starting these things for 2 years.
Yes, that does happen. Actually, I booked in for next week, and I went, she emailed me, I reckon it was a year ago, but it's
Yeah.
just taking that time
Yeah.
for things to align and for her to be ready. But look, most therapists will be very willing to have a chat. I think especially for hypnotherapy, where yes, it's just if they've got any questions where they might not realise whether their issue could be helped with hypnotherapy, but there's not something that really couldn't be helped. There's certain mental health conditions whereby it wouldn't be used, but reaching out to either a registered professional in their own profession, like a psychologist that utilises hypnotherapy, or a clinical hypnotherapist. Is
there a required amount of time you need to spend in the first session, or can people choose, or how does that? How long is it?
Well, I choose to spend an hour and a half with people, or up to, like, if it's a teenager or a child, and I'll be guided by them if they're getting a bit bored. But actually, most of the teenagers love to have that time and enjoy the process as much as adults. But and then look, it's up to us as practitioners. Unfortunately, we're not Medicare funded, so if we were, we'd be restricted with times. But I allow hour and a half, and it's interesting. An hour and a half is roughly a sleep cycle of our brain, what our brain goes through during the night, but also during the day as well. Our brain is going on a bit of a rhythm, a bit of a pattern. So about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I thought, isn't that interesting how I find that it takes about an hour and a half just to get through stuff. And when I do take that amount of time, I found with my practice, because it's all a bit of a there's no sort of strict rules of what you've got to do, but I find hour and a half to get the ball rolling, and thereafter roughly an hour. Sometimes it'll be an hour and a half, but I always allow an hour and a half, or I tell people to. So, but every practitioner is different. So, or do you know what? It could even be, if it was a doctor using it, it could be just a quick chat conversationally, if they're skilled with the conversational skills of hypnosis.
Yeah.
I just feel like you hold the key for so many people, because we've all signed people up at our clubs, and I guess they just can't quite get it happening. And I speak to these people, and I can see that just the negative self-talk, and I can see this person not as ready as they think they are. They want to do it, but they're half in, they're half out. Like, there's so many prime candidates, I think, you could help. You boys are probably thinking the same thing. And that's in my job. Like, I want to help everybody, and that's probably my greatest frustration in what I do overall. Like, if someone signs up, they don't come in enough, and they end up leaving, and I think, damn, how many years is it going to be till they try again? Like, they could have just lost 10 years of improvement and setting themselves up for a better older age, and now they've gone again, and I sort of feel like I've let them down. But I don't have the tools to get in up here. Like, I'm better than I would have been 16 years ago when I started, but it's just nice to know that there's something else out there that could just close that, fill the gap.
And get them over the line, you know, to get over what they've got to get over in terms of being either anxious of turning up to the gym, or worried or scared, or not being able to give up the, you know, emotional eating or boredom eating or whatever it might be that, you know, stops them from being healthy.
Absolutely. And look, if they've signed up, then that's a big tick. That's like, hang on. I'd work with them and I'd say, well, hang on, what made you do it in the first place? What did you hope to gain, and what held you back? If you're thinking, oh, I'm just not quite working on, I don't fit in here. So
that's something that I remind my clients of a lot. Just remember why you came to me in the first place. You know, and I also remind them, you came to me. So you made the decision through I can help you, but you have to have made that decision up here. Yeah. And the thing, I think, going back to what Wade, you were saying, we see both sides of it. You see those people that come in and, you know, bam, they're ready to go. They want to make that change. And then you can definitely make the distinction with people that haven't quite made the decisions yet and haven't quite understood what it's going to be, how they're going to have to do it.
yeah, if things keep getting in the way and they don't have time, then it's like, yeah, you're not prioritizing it. Like everyone's got the same cliche, everyone's got the same number of hours in a day. And then as you say, the ones that you know are going to make this happen, nothing gets in the way of that person.
That's right.
Yeah.
They will make time. And
Yeah,
people say that to me. They go, I don't have time. And I quite often say, that's a lie. That's not true. You didn't make time. You didn't make time. You chose to do something else. And that's fine if that's what you want to do, but you could have done it. You just made time to do something else rather than that.
absolutely. I was just going to say exactly the same thing. We all have time, and it's how we prioritize, what we prioritize, and what we value. So it's working through those things, and it's a great thing to be able to help people prioritize themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you have that sort of client, if you call them clients, where you might have somebody that reaches out, they don't quite get across the line, you can see they need it, but they're not quite getting that pull away? How would you tackle that situation and that particular person?
With that, if they were, I was going to say, if they're wanting to continue, if they're on that line of, I'm not quite,
I might give up here, I'm not going enough.
Yeah. So sorting out those priorities, sorting out what were they wanting to do it for, what were the goals, and we're all different as to if I was thinking back in my 20s, it was probably more keep fit and be strong, whereas now I'm in my 50s, so it's health, it's my blood chemistry results and all the things physiological. So our priorities it's knowing what we're wanting to gain from it.
Getting it really clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that.
Just tapping into that.
Yeah, having that goal and decluttering all the rubbish around the edge that stops us, and it's ourselves that get in our own way. So it's helping someone navigate what they're wanting from it, what they're going to gain, and how are they going to make those steps in the most easiest way for them. So with anything, I'll always talk to people about, okay, well, what would be effective? Because I could give them, if it would be weight loss, I could, if I was a dietitian, it could be a meal plan. I'm not, so I wouldn't. I'd refer them to a dietitian, but I could tell them what to do. But I'd rather we work together of what do they feel would be achievable and doable, having those steps, and so it might be up to maybe initially it's just once a week that they come, and then gradually build up, or whatever somebody would be. I think if it's an easy, achievable, just next step, it makes it feel more attainable for people.
It sounds like you're setting it up so they come up with the plan.
Yes.
And that's, as humans, we all like our own ideas the best. So I guess that's why it's so powerful.
We do. That reminds me, yesterday I've been working with this beautiful young woman. She's 17, doing year 12, and so she's got ADHD and also eating disorder. And it's interesting how the things that we were talking about, I don't even remember necessarily talking about her sleep, but I would have worked with her conversationally, told stories, and recently she shared that, do you know what? I feel so much better. I'm prioritizing my sleep. Now, I did not tell her to do that. If I had, I know I've got teenagers, she wouldn't do it. And if someone tells me what to do, I don't either. But she came up with that solution, and I said, well done. How did you do that? So then we were teased out, what do you do? How do you do that? How do you maintain, or how have you created your sleep hygiene? And she says, and I said, what about the benefits? How do you know that it's helping? How do you know? And she goes, my head's clearer. I'm focusing easier on my study. And I just think, wow. She came up with that. Her mind came up with that priority of actually I'll prioritize my sleep. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So it's working out what would be, and sometimes it's I say to people, sometimes it's your subconscious will pick up on whatever's the most important first to change, and it might not be what you think consciously is appropriate. But generally with people, I say there's always positive side effects. Generally for adults, it'll be, I just feel calmer. Or I just don't care about things that used to bother me as much. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Or sleep. They'll sleep better, and it's a wonderful thing to sleep. All that unconscious stress. Yeah, that it's normal. It's a normal part of life. Yeah.
It sounds like there's a lot of similarities between what you do and what we do in that way with the, you meet the person, you're going to break it down with them, you're going to get them where they need to be. They're going to see all these amazing benefits, some that they didn't know that they were going to do or receive. It's amazing to sort of hear that.
See and feel, I'll say see and feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
That's true. For some people, it might be seeing it in the mirror. That's a motivation for them, or other people might be feeling it. So that's feeling about work with that in person. Yeah. We can pick that up from their language too.
That's so important, I think.
What you do is so hugely powerful. I just want to yell it from the rooftops. Think about people out there struggling day to day, and they think they're beyond fixable, I guess. But it's not. God, it's just.
I question why it's not mainstream in terms of psychology. I know that it is utilised by some psychologists, and it is apparently. I've recently heard somebody whose daughter is studying it that it was in their lessons, but it's not like a main modality. And it depends on whether a therapist chooses to use it. But it is remarkable and always surprising and quick. Yeah.
I wonder why that is. That's so interesting one. I wonder why that is.
Thinking we should maybe get you on again, Louise, and delve a little deeper, and maybe get Wade as a little guinea pig for us.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 100% fine in every part of my life, mate.
All right. Well, that might do us. Thank you, Louise. We will definitely.
Oh, for me, if you need to find me, just Google my name, Louise Webster. My business name is Just Imagine Health, hypnotherapy. But Louise Webster, Google me and you'll find me online. Right. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. We will have you on again very soon because we're all, hanging on the next. Yeah.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. That'll do us for another week. We are the EFM Health Club podcast. We now have a X or Twitter profile. It's the EFM Pod. We will have stuff on there very soon. And you can find us all on Instagram. That'll do us for another week. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Louise.
Thanks, Louise.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again. Yeah.